Well, here we go again. So, I think this was episode 3, maybe. Do you start at 0 or do you start at 1? I don't really get this whole podcasty malarkey. It all seems to be kind of here nor there. All just seems to be, I don't know. I have no idea. Just rambling on again, as always. Anyway, so yes, I think I randomly put some music on. I don't know, but I think you had to suffer a song before you got here. But I just don't know if I got that right or not. Anyway, I don't know why. I still can't work out how to make a theme tune. And to be honest, I just don't feel that I actually need to make this any better than it actually is, because the quality talks for itself, really, doesn't it? Just absolutely rubbish. And then the things I could tell you, the things I probably could tell you, things I'm not going to. But yeah, so I had my, I think I mentioned I was going for an MRI. So I did that yesterday. That was quite an evening one, which was quite bizarre on a Saturday. Nothing better than spending your Saturday night than having your knee scanned in an MRI scanner. They said bring a CD along, so I did. I thought I would go for some suitable music for the occasion, so I went for some Julian Cope. But really I should have gone for some industrial noise terrorism like Atari Teenage Riot or Melt Banana, but I didn't. So there we go. So that was quite interesting. A bit of Julian Cope with some heavy metallic beats going on in the background. Very bizarre. So yeah, it was like a drive-through, quickly in, quickly out. Hey, that's where it goes. And that's exciting as that story gets. So a bit dull, really. They're never exciting as you think they are. You kind of think that someone will throw a magnet in there and it'll just be like a bit of metal, woohoo, bouncy, bouncy, bouncy. But no, just like I had a bit of metal on my shorts, and they said, oh no, that doesn't matter. And I'm like, but we see people throw staplers into these things and what have you, and they levitate. But no, not that exciting at all. Very disappointing. But I do ask a lot of questions about having metal behind your eyes, because apparently if you get metal fragments in you, then they all get stuck behind your eyes, and then if you go into an MRI head first, then the eyes get pulled out, which is quite inconvenient, I suppose. But it means you can look at the machine from a different angle, I suppose, if you think about it that way. I don't know. Do you? Do people think about these things? Probably not. Probably only people like me that think about these things, or the people that work the MRI scanners, because it was a tick box. So, yeah. Anyway, I digress. So we were really excited about this amazing book because I can't remember. I think we made it to page 7. No, we paid it 6. It had horror stories where hospital operations on the cartilage had not been had a successful outcome, giving the person loads of pain and aggravation. Well, I can confirm I had a cartilage replacement, and obviously it's all lies, I tell you. Lies. Anyway, he's been hanging out with Dave and Pete again. Put a photo back on the cabinet, because where else is he going to put it? And then we did the old dickhead joke, which is so funny. I couldn't stop my sides from ripping apart with the laughter. So yeah. There we go. Are we ready? Are we sitting comfortably? Have you got some cheese and biscuits? Because I'm middle-aged, I think maybe you should have some cheese and biscuits by the side of you, just listening in. If you're listening in the car, then I'm sorry about that. That's what I'm saying. I'm just sorry. You're listening in the car. I don't know, unless it's night time. I think maybe I've got a voice for night time. So if you're listening at night, that's probably the best time to listen to me, because I hope I'm a bit calming. But who knows? So yeah, anyway, right, where were we? 4 minutes into this podcast, I've not even read the book. Shocking. Would you call it a podcast? I just think it's part of audio ramblings, really, of just someone just rambling audibly. So yeah, right. Perhaps you could take up something else, Jane asked caringly. Oh, she asked it caringly. Yep, he sighed. Although Dave has already suggested that at my age, perhaps I should try bingo. See, old people play bingo. See, very funny, this book. Jane smiled at him, and he returned the smile. Oh, They smiled at each other, I think is really what the sentence should have been. She turned towards the mirrored cupboards in the bedroom, slipped off her dressing gown, and began to get dressed. Woohoo! Getting a bit saucy. Mirrored cupboards. Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? Ooh, sauce. As she put on a smart casual dress, she glanced at the reflection of Trevor as he found his trainers and sat back down on the bed to put them on. These particular trainers were his favourite footwear, and he wore them whenever he could, even to the degree that Dave had joked that when Trevor died, Dave would make sure that Trevor was buried and cremated in them. Nothing else, just his trainers. Are you allowed to do that? I'm not sure. I don't know. Very odd. Oh, itch. Got an itch. Old age itch. Oh, that's good. Excuse me, Trevor Fowler. Oh, he's got a last name. Fowler. He's been watching EastEnders. But haven't you got a new pair of shoes that you could wear tonight? You know, the nice pair of black brogues that I brought you last Saturday, she said, with more than a hint of light-hearted sarcasm in her voice. Jane had a habit of always using Trevor's full name when she wanted to put a particular point across. Oh, yes, he said, as he smiled back at her. Oh, people do that, don't they? That really winds me up when people, either use your full name or use a version of your name that you know irritates you. He stared to look around the bedroom for a new pair of shoes. Bottom right in the far wardrobe, she said, as she concentrated on adjusting her dress so that it was comfortable and looked good on her. Too much information. Trevor walked over to the wardrobe. He didn't walk out of the wardrobe. That's another book altogether. Opened the door and took out the shoes, which were located exactly where Jane had indicated. That's because she put them there. Walking back to the bed, he looked at the tops of the shoes, and then the underneaths to find the leather soles had mirrored surfaces where they had not been worn. Hope these aren't too uncomfortable to wear all night for the first time, he said, as if hinting slightly towards the fact that his feet would be much more comfortable in his trainers. But Jane was having none of it. She interrupted, putting on her makeup to look his way. She interrupted putting on her makeup to look his way. Sorry, my bag. Well, I'll be driving us to the cinema and back, so you don't need to do much walking, she said, to scupper any chance of him getting away with wearing his trainers. He reluctantly put the new shoes on. As he stood there, he realised how slippery the soles of his shoes were on the bedroom carpet. I think he's setting us up for a bit of a twist in the story. Slippery shoes. I wonder what's going to happen here. Are you sure you didn't want to go ice skating instead of the pictures? He grinned jokingly as he slid his feet across the carpet as if he were ice skating. However, he tried to turn. One of his shoes slipped more than he intended, and he fell headfirst onto the bed. Bloody hell, he said as he got up. Those soles are slippery. Well, if you do put fish on the bottom of your feet, you do find they're quite slippery. Jane chuckled heartedly at seeing Trevor slip and fall. She was the type of person who found slapstick extremely comical, apart from us who are reading the book and finding it extremely painful. That'll teach you to play the fool, she said, continuing to laugh at him. She picked up a bottle of spray perfume and gave himself a liberal coating behind the ears and on her wrists. A liberal coating? It sounds like she got a blooming paintbrush out, didn't she? Oh, I'll just get the roller out today. Right, pour it in there, just slosh it all over me. Liberal coating. A liberal coating is what you do with paint. Or maybe gravy. Can you liberally coat gravy over your potatoes? He liberally coated the potatoes in gravy. Yeah, you could. But not perfume. Liberal coating. Women don't liberally coat perfume. Little people who find bottles, and children who find bottles of perfume, not other little people. We're not even going there. But children, if they have they just splosh it on, don't they? But not a woman who's already put on a dress that obviously was so ill-fitting she had to adjust it a lot to make it look nice on her. Anyway, well, how do I look? She said as she turned towards him. His eyes scanned her from top to bottom, and then he smiled as he literally felt the beauty that radiated from her. Oh, gorgeous, he said. But you would look even better if you were to let me wear my trainers. Well, I'll just not have to look at I'll just not have to look my very best then, she replied with a smile, confirming the fact that there was no way she was going to let him take her out tonight wearing his trainers. But we'd better get going, she said, as she glanced at her watch. I want to get near the front of the queue so we can get decent seats. Okay, Trevor replied, I'm ready. Now, this book was written in 2013, and we know, was it 2013? Just double checking. We know that at that time you could still book online. So why didn't she book tickets online? That's my question. Obviously, the guy who wrote this book was quite old. Okay, Trevor replied, I'm ready. They both walked downstairs and out of the house, Trevor locking the front door behind them. I'm glad that they've locked the front door, because I don't think that many people lock the front door in books. And obviously, we see it on TV all the time, that people are not locking their front doors. And I often think to myself in movies and stuff, they've not locked the front door. We've just left. That door's open. Anyone could get in there. And yeah, it's just shocking that not enough people lock the front door. As they walked down the front garden path, Jane actioned the central locking on her car and walked around to the driver's side. Jane was the car owner out of the two, and had a small, fairly up-to-date car, which she mainly used to get to work and back, which was quite local. All right. You could just tell us what the car was, but no, he's going to make out it's a mystery. Oh, Arcus. Oh, no. Trevor, on the other hand, was employed in the large town, and although he could drive, he was happy to commute to work by rail. He found that this was a very amicable arrangement, as it was cheaper to buy an annual rail ticket than purchase and upkeep a car which he felt he would hardly use. Not on today's money, mate. Shocking. On a regular basis, he would fill Jane's car up with fuel, particularly for going out in it together. Oh. Trevor appreciated the arrangement from a further angle, by using the excuse that he didn't feel comfortable driving his small car. If he went out anywhere, particularly of an evening, there was an expectation that Jane would normally drive, therefore giving Trevor the opportunity to drink a number of pints of beer before the evening. As they drove to the cinema, Trevor kept very quiet on the basis that he didn't want to distract Jane's concentration while she was driving. I feel like this is such a sexist book. He's like, Trevor just gets drunk all the time, so far, that's all we know, and lies about toothache. And Jane drives a small car, and she better not be distracted, because she'll lose concentration. What's she going to do? Swerve the car into a tree? What? No, she's not some rock star from the 70s. Although she had a further reason, he always slightly anxious whenever he was a passenger in her car. He found that her driving was a little erratic, and felt that she didn't concentrate enough on the road whilst driving, but had miraculously avoided any accidents. This was more often than not normally the result of other drivers somehow managing to avoid her. That is so sexist. He's just like saying, yeah, she's a rubbish driver. No, I know many a woman who's good at driving, apparently. Anyway, in the past, he had confronted her on what he felt was the lack of practical driving ability. But the reaction he had always encountered was, well, if you don't like my driving, you drive. This had led to one rather embarrassing situation when she stopped the car in the middle of a busy local high street, got out and stormed off, leaving him rather red-faced, while he got out of the car and into the driver's side to drive off after Jane, to a chorus of car horns from drivers behind him, who had been delayed by her actions. Needless to say, if Trevor had been drinking whenever she drove home from an evening out, it helped calm his anxieties about her driving. That's really just rubbish. It really annoys me that he's just like, it's just stereotypes, isn't it? And to be honest, it's just awful. Trevor hardly drives. He gets the train all the time. I bet he's absolutely rubbish. What driving practices he's got? Yeah, whatever, Trev. Shocking. And then, right, so then there's a massive big blank section of page on page 11. For no apparent reason. So presumably, it's meant to be a new chapter. But on page 12, there's no chapter headings. There's literally no chapters. Yet, just random big spaces where he feels like there should be some gap. Look, I think if everyone's got a book in them, can we just... Apparently everyone's got a book in them, they need to write the book, yada, yada, yada. If anyone has an idea to write a book, please talk to their friends about it. Maybe the Samaritans. Just talk to someone. Sometimes it's just easier to say no. Don't write that book. Because this just is quite shocking. And I feel like we've got a natural break. We've done these podcasts are getting far too long as well. We're at 15 minutes now, and that's like, and you've had to listen to a song. So it's just absolutely shocking. So I'm going to go and have a drink of something. It's nearly bedtime. I had some. If you've had your crackers and cheese, well done. Very impressed. I had a packet of some crisps. Yeah, let's just go with that. I've had some crisps. About to go and get a drink of water because it's nearly my bedtime because I am old. And I just hope that you have a pleasant evening. I feel that we were calmer today, so it was good. Not so manic, but I have just had my tablet. It's very good. Very good indeed. Oh, it is 10 o'clock at night. I'm very tired. Work tomorrow, isn't it? Work tomorrow, yeah. Well, yeah, that's another story. Cover that another day. Anyway, right, well, yes, have fun. Enjoy. And I'll speak to you again. Ta-ta for now.